I was 9 years old when I lost my second kidney transplant due to my chronic illness striking back again. And that time was a time of real disaster for my life. The kidney I had for 2.5 years, which meant for me starting from age 7 to around 9.5 years old, which was a total new life for me because the first 7 years I was on dialysis. I had one another kidney with 5 years old, but that only worked for 24 hours. So what happened is I had a complete new life. I remember the time when with 7 years old I started to eat properly, like menus, and before I had artificial food through my nose. So that was something that was new for me. I could taste flavors of different food because I was allowed to eat properly. I wasn't anymore on a diet of potassium and phosphate and liquid. And so that was a dream life for me. That also meant I could go to school, go out with friends, live out my hobbies without any restriction because I didn't have to be absent for 3 times a week for 5 hours for dialysis. And so this went very well for 2.5 years. I really flourished in my life. I started skiing like all the healthy people did in my town back then where I grew up. They learned it like maybe with 2, 3, 4 years old. I could do that with 7 years old the first time. And so there were so many things like the horizon of new things were grandiose, very big for me in my life situation. And it's like um, you get to realize what a real life looks like. And so you enjoy that full on. I was enjoying that like crazy. Like every minute I was like, I want to go out, I want to play, I kind of always was a wild boy, but even at that time I was even more. And so I enjoyed every activities, being with friends. Of course, I had to go to the hospital maybe only in the beginning every week and then every second week, every month for controlling, for blood tests and all that stuff. But it was amazing. And so 2.5 years later, the unthinkable happened. So my kidney, which was from somebody else that died early on, uh, uh, the kidney was in me, but it became a best friend for me. It was my best friend because my best friend kept me, uh, gave me a total new life. Until after 2.5 years, unfortunately the chronic illness strike back, and we realized, okay, um, we have to do blood tests. I didn't feel good anymore. I knew something was going on. Uh, I had to test my urine, which was not showing very good, and so a lot of fear came up. And so the doctors did everything that they could to keep the kidney. And I remember a time when my parents and my doctors recommended urgently that I remove the kidney because the kidney at the end was doing more harm than it was doing good. And I was already kind of part time again back on dialysis. But tell a 9 year old to leave your best, to leave her or his best friend. It's impossible. It doesn't make sense. So I was keeping it. I said, no, I'm not going to remove it. And I remember that so it get a little bit intense here, but as I say, my YouTube channel is all about authenticity to share what I went through in my life. So I was in the hospital. I went to the bathroom, and my I was a little bit urinating still. On the medical side, if you don't have kidneys, you just stop urinating. That's why you go to dialysis to clean your blood. So I was aware of that, of course. And so I went in the bathroom. I was peeing my last pee, and I didn't think it was the last one, but uh, it became the last one, and it was bloody red. And that was a shock for me, moment for me to realize, well, my parents, my doctors are right. My kidney now, if I losing blood, I'm not going to survive for long, and the kidney is not working anymore. So um, I went back to the room. My parents were there, as I remember, and I was crying. I was like, I couldn't find words, and I was saying, look, I was just urinating blood, and I have to. I don't want to, but you were right. I have to remove my best friend. So I had another operation within a couple of weeks because before I had to have my catheter here for the dialysis, and so another operation that was going on to remove my kidney, and I didn't realize at the time what's going on really, unless I a few days later I went home with my parents, and I realized at the first time what was really going on that I had to go back to my old life that I was living for my first 7 years or eight. I would go chronic with 1 year old up to 7 years. That's about 6 years, 6 years, sorry. Um, that I realized I have to get back to that life that I had to live 6 years before my second transplant. And it was so hard. I remember the time my uh, parents did everything they could do to support me, but as speechless as I was, they were also. I remember the time that was probably the beginning of something new. Um, in a negative sense, which I will talk in that video later on. But there was also something good in it. And so I was flat on the couch in my parents' living room for 2 weeks straight. I didn't talk, I didn't eat. I was, I only went up when I had to go to the bathroom for uh, pooing, uh, not paying. So I couldn't do that anymore. And so that were terrible. That was a terrible time, emotionally as well, psychologically. And so if you realize that you lost something so dearly with age nine and a half, you can't handle it. It's almost impossible to handle. I couldn't because and it was a big setback in my life to go back to dialysis, and because the life changed to having less free time, not being able to go to school anymore properly. It was so tiring to go 3 times a week, again in the hospital for 4 hours, drive 1 hour there, drive 1 hour back, go to school, have homework. Um, Everything changed again, implementing the diet again. And so I couldn't eat anymore anything that I like to in sense of healthy stuff, because I had to look again for to minimize my potassium, my phosphate, my liquids. And so it game changed. And 2 weeks I was flat there thinking about it. My life doesn't make sense. So more and more I was thinking about suicide. And I was like thinking, well, how I'm going to do that? I'm going to bathroom. I'm going to sniffle petrol until I fall somewhere on a hard ground or something. I'm going to cut myself. I'm going to. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know how to end my life. I was so in a terrible state. I didn't know at all what to do. That was the state I was in. And so my parents tried to talk to me. It didn't work because I found no words in that situation, and it was just terrible. After 2 weeks or even 2.5, my parents had, we were people, or we are still people of faith, and they had the idea to bring pastors into our home to pray for me. Um, and so that what happened. I agreed to that because at that time I had the belief, or still I have the belief today, that there's something in this world, in the universe, uh, called God, which is above us, that can handle any situation. He doesn't bring pain. He's not a God who brings pain. The world is painful enough, so he doesn't bring pain. He's a loving God. People or circumstances bring the pain, not God Himself. And He always knows you or myself best, as nobody else knows yourself best or myself best. So I agreed to that, that they come, and it was kind of the only solution I knew back then. Um, so today I will probably a bit more like on the psychological side, but I mean that's almost, yeah, 20 years ago. So you learn all the time. You grow up, you get wiser with the age. You make things differently that you would have done in the past. Anyway, that was my only solution. And so they came, and something shifted in that moment. I didn't feel the sense of everything good, of course not, but something shifted in a way that was bringing me hope, at least to get to the next day, to find at least maybe, uh, how do you say, that the pain can turn into purpose. And so that's what happened. So I believe um, psychological things are good, healthy things are good, but there's also a spiritual part, and they have to be aligned together. If you use only one, it doesn't work. If you use only psychological stuff, that doesn't work as well in a situation like that. So I believe everything is needed. Uh, so the psychological, spiritual, and physiological. Okay, so that was the positive part. The second part, the less positive part, is what I'm going to talk now about: why the shuffling burnout keeps me hustling. And I feel like that's what happened in my life from that time on. On the one hand, I have the chronic illness. On the other hand, I want to live big. I want to do great things. I want to live like a healthy person. I want to be or have adventure. I want to live a normal person. But that doesn't work when you have a long-lasting chronic illness. It works sometimes, but it's very, counterproductive. So they're always fighting against each other. So I feel like since then I'm almost all the time on a shuffling burnout. Always tired in a sense, keeping fighting, keeping me alive, keeping me out above water. That's one part. On the other side, I want to do more. I want to do big. I want to be great. I want to be, everything that a healthy person or most of the healthy people want that. Um, but there are so many things that are in contradiction with each other. And so I feel like I'm always kind of, you know, in a shuffling burnout kind of. It's not really a burnout, but I feel like I'm always in it, but not fully in it. Maybe you get the point, and that's tiring. That's kind of um, it's something I don't know how to explain it. It's something you pull on a rope all the time to open a door. You believe and you have the hope that the door will get out of it will open, but you have to pull it out in order to open it. That's maybe the best scenario or metaphor I can bring in this scenario. And so that's how my life felt. And when you are 30, I have to count all the time, 35 years chronically ill, and you do that every day, week by week, month by month, year by year, decade by decade. It's going on, and you can't change it. I cannot change, I cannot remove my dialysis. I cannot remove just my uh, psychological up and downs that happen every day. I can minimize it in a sense of uh, eating healthier, adjusting to certain things, doing sport, which I do. But even if I want to go to sport, it feels um, sometimes not just for me, for everyone I know, but for chronic ill person, even more to get there, even check the mental point of going is so hard sometimes that you just want to lie in bed and to um, you know just do nothing. But on the other hand, I know it's not going to help because if you lie around all the time, within a few weeks, it gets worse. And so that's what's happening. And I'm really grateful that I have the kind of, wanting more of my life. I think it's a little bit genetical because my father has always been, he's still a hard worker. He came from a farmer family. He always had that kind of um, pushing and um, it's genetically uh, kind of. But I also, end of the day, I learned it early on. I had to fight for my life from 1 year old. Um, and so it was always going like, it was always kind of survival mode. And that's the way I grew up because up to age 15, I had 40 operations plus. I had 3 kidney transplant failures, and up to today, I have 6,000 plus dialysis dialysis treatments going on every 3 weeks, and there is at the moment no end in sight to stop all that. And so it's a crazy life. Um, on the other hand, I'm so grateful, or I'm honest here at the moment with my life. It's hard to be grateful sometimes in certain seasons when you want to be things totally different, but you have no clue or you can't change anything. You're out of control. you are kind of, yeah, maybe you have experienced that already as well in a life situation where you have tried everything, but it feels like nothing changed. Hey, keep going. I know it's hard, but keep going because I believe every pain turns into purpose earlier or later. I cannot tell you when it is going to happen, but I can tell you someday it's going to happen. And the reward will be much greater. You will always get a reward in life. Always. Believe me. For the pain that you went through, there is always a reward in front of you when you don't give up on your life. And so yeah, that's the video for today. Tell me in the comments or text me privately if you are comfortable with that. Tell me, what is your current situation that you cannot change? How does it look like? And sometimes even talking about it helps so much, and sharing each other's struggle keeps us going. And it's in my case, it's like that. When I hear somebody struggle, I feel like, I'm not the only one. There are 8.5 billion people. Everyone has different struggles, so it helps. Tell me also, um, what was your worst life experience so far, and what has it done to you? Um, was it more negative? Was it positive? Was it both? And also tell me, um, what's one more good question? Um, yeah, what do you think about the video? What do you think about how would you handle the situation? Um, Maybe you don't have experience. That's okay. I'm always open for kind of solutions or new ideas, not solution, new ideas that I could try again, and maybe we can share ideas. That's actually the new currency in this world, sharing ideas and making them big. So okay, enough for today. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Have a great one. Be blessed. Bye bye.